Johnson County lowers its cannabis possession fines to $1, and Hawaii medical patients can now legally access edibles. This is Lo with Veriheal, keeping you up to date with the latest in cannabis news. In Rock County, Wisconsin, cannabis possession fines previously ranged from $150 to $500 depending on the offense. But now, officials have significantly lowered small possession fines to $1. Unfortunately, the $1 fines only apply to charges that come from the county sheriff, as local police jurisdictions have not adopted these new changes. And while the fines are greatly reduced, it doesn't mean that cannabis has been completely decriminalized. Offenses will still go on your record if you're caught. These new changes leave a bad taste in some mouths because residents in nearby counties could potentially face drastically different consequences. Thankfully, Wisconsin's governor supports legalization, and measures have been introduced to decriminalize, expunge records, and prohibit vehicle searches based on smell. Next in news, Hawaii medical cannabis patients now have legal access to edibles. Medical cannabis has been available in Hawaii for 20 years now. However, the law didn't allow for medical edibles. Hawaii Governor David Ige recently signed legislation that allows access to edibles for those registered in the state's medical cannabis program. This is great news for those who are unable to smoke cannabis, as it now widens the options for cannabis therapy. Recreational use is still illegal, but possession is no longer a criminal offense. The changes are set to take effect January 1st, 2021. And lastly, Congress is considering giving wildfire aid to the cannabis industry. You probably know by now that the entire West Coast is basically on fire. And with a large portion of the Pacific Northwest dedicated to large-scale cannabis grows, some have been devastated by these raging fires. Many small communities in those areas heavily rely on cannabis cultivation as a means of their livelihood, and they aren't eligible for any federal disaster relief. But there may be hope on the horizon. A few Congress members from Oregon have introduced a measure to give legal cannabis businesses access to federal disaster relief. Oregon Representative Peter DeFazio pointed out that cannabis businesses employ thousands across the state, and that it's a vital resource for the state's economy. If enacted, this measure will ensure that legal cannabis businesses can receive the same relief that every other business who's been gravely impacted by the wildfires gets. Our heart goes out to the entire cannabis industry out west, and we hope that this measure does go through. So go ahead and like this video and give us a follow at Veriheal to stay up to date with the latest in cannabis news. Thanks for watching.